good morning. Happy Friday, Warhawks. This is Colonel Wilson coming to you for episode 21 of Freeform Friday. Happy Friday, long weekend coming up, Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. I wanted to introduce all of you to Chief Butcher. Chief Butcher is going to be our interim command chief here for the next couple of months. Chief Blaze has gone on to do other things, some great things for our Air Force, as we discussed last Freeform Friday. So Chief Butcher will be helping us out for a period of time. We're really excited to have him. Chief, do you want to introduce yourself? We're very grateful. Colonel Gillis over in DLI has been kind enough to allow us to use your services and your talents for the next 2 to 3 months or whatever it turns out to be. But love to know a little bit more about you. I'm sure the crowd would as well.
Yes, sir. No, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity once again, Colonel Wilson, and shout out to Colonel Gillis as well. Yes, sir. My name is Chief Master Sergeant Greg Butcher. Been in the Air Force almost 25 years now, and my wife and I, we stationed here, just coming in out of Kadena about 6 months ago. We have 4 children. My oldest son is actually wearing the cloth of our nation as well. He's an airman in our Air Force, serving out at Shaw Air Force Base. A 15-year-old, a 7-year-old, and an 11-month-old.
11 months, huh?
Yes, sir.
You're a brave man.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And a tired man too. Sleepy man.
Well, my wife carries most of the burden. Give her a shout out as well on that. But yes, we also have 2 cats. I'm not a cat person, by say. I love all fur babies, but I am definitely more of a dog person. Yes, let's see. Favorite movie? It had to be a toss-up between Avengers and Remember the Titans.
Which Avengers?
The first one.
The original.
Yes.
New York City.
New York City.
Yeah.
That
awesome.
was a good one.
Yeah, that was good. And what was the Remember the Titans?
Remember the Titans.
Yeah, I think it was Chief Gravely who loved Remember the Titans too, if I remember right. So, yeah, not a hard movie to fall in love with there for sure.
Yes, sir.
Great. Well, it's good to know you. It's going to be great getting to know you even a little better as we go through over the next couple months, and just excited to have you here.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Hey, a couple of big announcements. Last week we announced that our basic military training, the 737 training group, was lucky enough. Lucky is not the right word because it certainly had nothing to do with luck, but was well deserving of earning the Vern Orr Award for Air Education and Training Command. And the Vern Orr Award was essentially the best utilization of human resources. It makes a lot of sense. Our BMT, the fact that we've been able to meet all our production numbers, even despite being in a COVID environment, a COVID and pandemic environment, no surprise that they were able to win it, but nonetheless, well deserved for that team. But we also had news that we received another award this week. Our Career Enlisted Aviators Center of Excellence, our COE as we call it, over in the 344th Training Squadron. Our career enlisted aviators, 100% of them go through our schoolhouse here. They were lucky enough, again lucky, I keep using that word, there's no luck about it. They were fortunate enough or worked hard and very deserving of the 2021 AFA Aerospace David C. Schilling, gosh darn it, I'm not going to get it out here. 2021 AFA Aerospace Award, David C. Schilling category. There we go. So that's quite a mouthful, and I didn't do a very good job of that. But nonetheless, congratulations to our COE. Congratulations to the 344 Training Squadron. Congratulations to the 37 Training Group. Great job for everybody. So there's been a lot going on this week. Man, it has been fast and furious. We started out Monday, and we had the Commander-in-Chief's Installation Excellence Award Selection Board, headed up by Major General Hickok, who who virtually visited with our wing to look at us as one of the final 2 installations for the Commander-in-Chief's Installation Excellence Award. That effort is being headed up by our partners over in the 502nd Air Base Wing, but we are a big part of that, and we are a part of the installation, and they came and kicked the tires a little bit and took a look at our mission. Specifically, they looked at our basic military training. We just talked a little bit about that, and we'll continue to talk about that as we go on. And they also took a look at our 341st Training Squadron military working dogs. For those that aren't aware, we are the executive agent for all Department of Defense military working dog programs. And so we exhibited both of those 2 programs, and we also talked a little bit about our 2 defense cooperation schools, our language schools over there in IF and DLI. And so we started out the week with that. That was a slow start to a Monday morning. After that, then we moved on, and we've been going through a unit effectiveness inspection this entire week with our partners in the Air Education Training Command Inspector General's office headed up by Colonel Corey Christopher and Chief McNutt. That's the inspection team, but Colonel Rob Ludington, who is the AETCIG, has been here quite a bit this week as well. Feel very blessed to have that team here taking a look at us. As we've talked about, we open our books, we open ourselves up, and they come in and they have been very non-intrusive. They've been great to work with and really made some good suggestions. It's always good to get an outside perspective. Chief, any thoughts on the UAI that's going on this week?
Yes, sir. I think it's going very well. One thing too with the Air Force inspection system, right? Mission readiness is inspection readiness. So I'm really proud of Warhawks. I've been able to go out and see our Warhawks on the move throughout this week, and just impressed with all the mission sets and what we're showing the Inspector General while they're here on our campus. And truly humbled and honored to even be part of this thing in a greater capacity. This is hollow ground for every enlisted member.
Yep,
that is
that's right.
Wore the cloth of our nation, every enlisted airman and now a guardian, and we get a lot done. Our mission is so much broader than there's BMT, there's tech training with an enormous amount of AFSC.
24, I think.
24
at last count.
And we stretch across multiple geo-separated locations. And not only that, we've got the international piece too with the IAFA team, as well as my home unit with the Defense Language Institute 637 Training Group, and working with 120 partner nations. So very impressed for everything I saw, accompanying the team, and thank you, sir.
Yeah, the Commander's Inspection Program and ATIS, it's meant to not be intrusive when you have these capstone events, and it's, hey, we're just looking at the program. It's not like the old UCIs that we used to do. But you know what? Anytime the Inspector General is going to spend a week in your wing, it takes some effort. It takes some extra additional effort to try and get ready for that. And so our wing has been preparing for a little bit now. Although I think we're always ready for any type of inspection when it comes to that, because I think we do a great job with that. But I do agree. I think we've opened the Inspector General's eyes to the diversity and the breadth of our mission sets here. So pretty cool. We had him out yesterday, and he was over at the COE. Colonel Christopher and Chief McNutt were, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm addicted. I'd be over there all the time. And I get it, because we feel the same way. So that's great. So we had that going on. I wanted to talk just a minute about the events last week in the National Capitol. There's been a lot of discussion. If you watch the national news or you look on social media platforms, there's just a lot going on and a lot of discussion about that. And I continue to just say, as we've talked a lot in this wing this week, and we've sent out a couple different messages via social media and our email, that we're an apolitical entity. We are here. We are here to support the President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief. We are here because we took an oath to serve and protect and defend in line with our Constitution. So we have a transfer of power, a peaceful transfer of power, coming up on the 20th of January, where Vice President-elect Biden will become the 46th President of the United States. We will serve him. We will obey the lawful orders of the President of the United States. I think that should sound pretty familiar for soon-to-be President Biden, just as we have for President Trump, just as we will for every president from here forward. So that's it, and what I've urged our folks to do is there's just a lot of polarization, a lot of polarized comments right now, a lot of ideology, okay? And what I've asked our folks to do is look at it using their own reason, their own thoughts, their own logic, use your own judgment. Try not to go down the rabbit hole. Do your own research, And then the other thing is just remember that we wear this uniform, or if we don't wear the uniform and we're a civilian airman, we're still representatives of the Department of Defense in the United States Air Force. So I've urged them to do that, and I think we always do a pretty good job of that. But it's hard not to pay attention to the events of the world that's going on, Chief.
Yeah. The only thought I have in that, sir, too. I've also been watching the news and what's going on, and it actually. I started thinking about Martin Luther King, right? His birthday is today.
That's right.
But we will be acknowledging, his birthday and celebrating his birthday on Monday, with the federal holiday, a day off for most of us throughout Warhawk Nation. But I'm reminded of, especially during the events in our capital this week, over the past week, how Martin Luther King Jr. How he led revolution, he led change through peaceful means and
peaceful through that's right through influence and discussion and dialogue. That's how you solve problems, right? And that's how our country, I think, will continue to go forward. And thanks for bringing that up. Of course, we have a long weekend coming up. We just remember MLK, Dr. King, and the amazing things he did for civil rights and equality in our country and the changes that he brought about. Change happens slowly, and it happens through, again, discussion. And the further apart we get, the less we talk. And the less we talk, the fewer problems we're able to solve. So I feel like our wing's very unified. I feel like we're very committed to mission, and that always brings us together. And we're here now, and we're here together, and we serve together every day. But it's good to have that dialogue. So thanks, Chief. Good point. Good point. So what I thought we'd do is kick it over for a little bit of questions and answers, a little Q&A. I'm going to talk a little bit about vaccines, but I think we have some questions that have come in through Warhawk Solutions. So I'll just use the questions to try and provide some of the information that we have teed up for today. So we have Miss Brittany Warwick, as always, here behind the camera, who's going to throw out some questions for Chief and I.
Yes, sir. So the first one, all of them will be dealing with the vaccine, but the first one's about civilians. Will all civilian employees be offered the opportunity to get the vaccine?
And the short answer to that is yes. They will be offered the opportunity to get that. Now, we had some news that came out yesterday. It's pretty exciting, and that is, and it's a constant evolution, because it's all about supply. It's also about supply and distribution and logistics, and there's a whole lot of things that really, when it comes down to getting the vaccine out to people. And that is that we have now been authorized to identify our mission essential personnel, mission critical personnel, as we deem it mission critical. And so we sent a tasker out to our wing last night to identify our military, civilian, and contract personnel here in our wing that are deemed to be mission essential. How do you define mission essential? I left that up to the commanders, but essentially it's going to be those that are most in direct contact with the operational mission, those that are most exposed to a particular risk, and those that makes the wheels go round. So the commanders will look at that today, and we will get our names back. But the short answer, I gave you a lot more than you asked for there. The short answer to the question is absolutely yes. Our civilian airmen are just as critical as our military airmen, and they will be offered the vaccine on a voluntary basis as time goes on, and depending which category they fall into. But as we get more supply, then we'll be able to make it more available. But what I can tell you is we've already started. Our first vaccines were issued to personnel within the 37th Training Wing early this week. They've been administered all throughout the week, and we will continue to administer all next week as well, and going forward. So that's great news.
Yes, sir. Last week you talked about MTIs being on the list. They are wanting to know, is BMT on a higher priority in receiving the COVID vaccine than other units?
And the short answer again to that question is yes, they are. And there's reasons for that. The reasons are, first, they are handling a civilian population that's coming in, and right now that civilian population's positive rates are higher than they have been for some time. You can look at the national trends and the national numbers and understand why. They're essentially dealing with folks that are coming right in, they're flying in the airport, they're getting off the bus, and it is a higher positivity rate that they are dealing with than, let's say, our technical training or our potentially our other schoolhouses. So a lot of times there's more control measures in place than it is for BMT. The other situation, which is probably even more compelling, is that they have to train in an aggregated environment, and there is no virtual option. They train in person. We've met all CDC guidelines in terms of distance and separation and masks, but at the same time, it's a large open bay construct, which doesn't lend itself very well to being able to isolate and quarantine personnel and keep separation. So they're in a different environment, and they're dealing with a different population. And so the answer is yes, they've been prioritized higher to date. But as I just mentioned, that is the definition of, or rather the prioritization is expanded into what we call Category 1C within the DoD, and that is Mission Essential, Key Essential, and that will be opened up here hopefully as early as next week. So.
Yes, sir. The final question is, how has BMT done in minimizing infection rates compared to other services?
Yeah, it's funny. We talk to the other services all the time, and our basic military training is a little bit different than the other services' basic military training. But we have a venue called Corbett where we have great dialogue at the general officer and at the 06 level about what's working for the other services, what works for the Navy at Great Lakes, what works for the Army, what works for the Marine Corps, and we learn lessons from each other. And we've all gone through different forms of hardship, and we've all had struggles, but we've also all had successes. And so we're very proud of our BMT. We've met all our production numbers. We've been able to meet all our training objectives. We feel like we are producing a ready force that's going off to our technical training schools and going out to their first operational duty assignments. And so we're excited about that. We've had very little delay in terms of our training pipeline. We've had to do a ton of innovation. I could sit here, Chief, I could talk about the BMT's innovation probably for a couple hours. It is remarkable, the efforts that we've made in terms of transforming the organizational structure, in terms of standing up a new squadron, in terms of the Keesler detachment, on and on and on, and all the different quarantine procedures that we've gone through. But the bottom line is we're super proud of it, and we've been able to keep our doors open, and we work with the services every day, the other services, to learn from them, and they learn from us. So.
Yes, sir. So we haven't received any questions on the live feed, but there are quite a few people who are excited to see you, Chief Butcher, this morning, giving you a shout out on there.
Yeah, you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Where's Mom, Dad, Priya?
I'll give a shout out to our DLI instructors, because I know they're proud. They're proud seeing one of their own over here as the command chief. They are a great group. We hear from them a lot, which is great, because the service that they provide to our Department of Defense and our nation in terms of being that ambassadorship when it comes to English language proficiency for our international military students that are going to go off and go to our technical training or professional military education training or whatever it is. They provide essential service, and I know they watch this pretty closely, so they're probably proud to see you out there, Chief Butcher, but that's good. That's great.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Miss you already, team.
All right. Well, I think next, we're going out today. Fun Friday starts right after Freeform Friday, and Fun Friday, we're going out to IF, I think, this morning, and we're going over to the 37 training group. Again, I just want to say thanks for all your efforts this week, the unit effectiveness inspection. By all accounts, we haven't got the final report. The feedback's been very good from our IG, and so we just look forward to sharing that with you, the successes. We know we'll have things to work on. Every organization has things to work on. We're no different than that, but we encourage everybody to keep communicating using Warhawk Solutions, using Freeform Fridays, using email, using your commanders, using any form that you can. Please continue to communicate, and we'll do our best to try and make sure you have the best possible work environment, the best possible quality of life that we possibly can offer. So, and just again, encourage everybody to do their education on the vaccine. There's a lot of information out there. We're getting ready to, I think, push out some additional information here. But do your research and make your own personal decision. So anyway, that's all we got for today. We are out. Warhawks trained to win. All right. We do this. Yeah.
You didn't get the memo.
But you don't have to do it.